So, he has also delivered a veiled indictment of the Gandhi family legacy. Well, Tharoor highlighted the brutal forced sterilization campaigns led by Sanjay Gandhi, Indira Gandhi's son, which targeted poor rural areas with violence and coercion. He also condemned the ruthless demolition of slums in cities like New Delhi, which left thousands homeless without any welfare consideration. And now, Shashi Tharoor emphasized that the emergency was possible because power was centralized to an unprecedented degree and dissent was equated with disloyalty. Shashi Tharoor warned that the temptation to centralize power and silence critics often comes disguised as national interest or stability, a lesson democracy must never forget, he says. And this candid critique has now triggered a fresh storm within the Congress party, where the emergency remains a sensitive and divisive topic. The BJP has mocked the Congress party, accusing it of harboring an emergency mindset.
समस्या क्या है कि इससे यह स्पष्ट होता है, यदि कांग्रेस सांसद ऐसा बोलते हैं कि यदि उनके किसी वरिष्ठ नेता को 50 वर्ष के बाद भी इस बात का एहसास होता है, एक तो बहुत देर से हुआ, जिसे एक शेर में कहते हैं ना, आह को चाहिए एक उम्र असर होने तक, कौन जीता है तेरी जुल्फ के सर होने तक, तो 2 उम्र निकल गई। यानी अगर 25 साल की एक जनरेशन माने तो 2 जनरेशन निकल गई। अब इसके बाद भी यदि कांग्रेस पार्टी इसका विरोध करती है, इससे बहुत स्पष्ट है कि वो इमरजेंसी की मानसिकता को सही मानते हैं और आज भी पूरी निर्लज्जता के साथ उसका समर्थन करते हैं।
शशि थरूर ने कहा है कि जो इमरजेंसी वाला एरा था, वहां पे डेमोक्रेटिक फ्रीडम्स को स्नैच कर दिया गया था। इंदिरा गांधी, राहुल गांधी और गांधी वाड्रा परिवार के एंटी डेमोक्रेटिक माइंडसेट को कांग्रेस के नेता शशि थरूर खुद एक्सपोज कर रहे हैं। इससे यही स्पष्ट होता है कि दबी आवाज में हर कांग्रेस का कार्यकर्ता और नेता ये स्वीकारता है कि गांधी वाड्रा परिवार एंटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, एंटी डेमोक्रेसी और डिक्टेटोरियल है। ये राहुल गांधी के संविधान तो हाथ में लेकर घूमते हैं, परंतु असली सच्चाई यही है कि गांधी वाड्रा परिवार लोकतंत्र में विश्वास नहीं रखता है।
डॉक्टर शशि थरूर ने इमरजेंसी को लेकर के एक आर्टिकल लिखा है, उसमें उन्होंने उस समय की सरकार को दोषी ठहराया। क्या कहना है सर?
मैंने उनका आर्टिकल पढ़ा नहीं।
Well, inside Congress, Tharoor's outspoken independence and his repeated public praise of Prime Minister Modi's diplomacy have deepened the rift with the party leadership. And his views often clash with the party's official line, making him a polarizing figure. But the question now is whether the Gandhi family and the Congress High Command will tolerate Shashi Tharoor's dissent or crack down on him. And that brings us to the big question. Has Tharoor crossed the Lakshman Rekha by his emergency dig at Indira Gandhi or not? Nirmal Abraham, a political analyst, also with us on the broadcast here. Very warm welcome to you, Nirmal. Nirmal, first up, let me ask you the first question right up. Did he cross that line? Has Shashi Tharoor crossed this new Lakshman Rekha? I mean, there's one aspect of reflecting on one's own history, but to openly call out your own party's legacy, I mean, how do you look at this op-ed that Shashi Tharoor put out?
It's very strange, but I think we all saw it coming. We've been seeing it for the past, I would say, at least 2 years, although he's actually said similar things at least 10 years back. But for the last 3-4 months or so, it feels like he either wants to go out or he wants someone to kick him out. That's probably what he wants, I think, at this point, because he's definitely crossed the point. And I'm saying this with all respect to Shashi Tharoor as someone who follows Shashi Tharoor heavily. So, yeah, I mean, so I think he has crossed the line. Already when he spoke about in Kerala, for instance, from our perspective, he not only praised the right-wing central government, he also keeps praising the left-wing Kerala government at a time when the election is barely 9 months away. So we see that it's very strange, and we also feel that he has crossed the line. But I'm waiting to see what happens next, because so far the Congress does not seem to respond, or I don't think there's an action coming either. So maybe it's inevitable that action is taken, or he's probably moving out, is what I feel.
Do you think this is a calculated rebellion, or is this a genuine ideology? Is this more to do with posturing?
If it was genuine ideology, do you really think someone like Shashi Tharoor would have waited 16 years despite being in the Congress party to speak about something that happened 50 years back? I don't think so. I think it's very calculated. He's been doing this for at least the last 2 months on a consistent basis. Operation Sindoor, He said recently that under Modi, the relationship with the Arab nations are going well. The US is going well. So he keeps praising Modi and as well as the left government for some reason in Kerala, upsetting the Congress party. So I think it's very, very calculated, no doubt about it.
And how does one look at the timing of this, op-ed? Do you see Shashi Tharoor building a parallel brand? Is this a party within a party sort of situation that's coming up?
Well, even if he is trying to build a parallel brand, I don't think he would have it. Listen, sometimes when you think about a politician, you don't judge a politician by how well he's spoken, how good of an author he is, how much of a global citizen he is. What matters for a politician is the numbers. Even in Thiruvananthapuram, despite being there for 16 years, he's won on 4 occasions on the trot. What has he actually done? I mean, he promised a High Court bench to the city of Trivandrum, could not deliver it. He promised aims to Trivandrum, could not deliver it. He promised a knowledge city to Trivandrum, could not fulfill it. And as a Kerala, I'm proud to say that in 1990, we got the first IT park of Kerala, Techno Park, Trivandrum, 1990, 36 years back. Look at all the cities around us, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, they've all grown fivefold. Trivandrum more or less remains the same, or at least hasn't grown progressively or proportionately, which is disappointing. So if you look at the numbers, I'm not sure if Shashi Tharoor is up there with some of the other politicians in Kerala. Number 2, has he created more trouble for the Congress party staying within the party? Remember in 2010 when he tried to, in the Kochi Tuskers controversy, that actually forced him to resign his ministerial post. How many tweets has he said that's been controversial? The scorpion on the shivling retweet, the cattle class tweet. The fact that his map in his manifesto was distorted, excluding parts of Jammu and Kashmir. There are many, many controversies which has actually hurt the Congress party. Now it's happening every other week. And I think it is almost time that the Congress party looks into it and takes action without fearing of the consequences. Because in Kerala, I will tell you the truth, he will never be made the chief ministerial candidate, although I wish he will be. The reason is there are many people who has worked from the ground, from their teens as student leaders, K. Sudhagar, Ramesh Chennithala, V.D. Satishan, K. Muralidharan. These people have been working within the party with the locals, for the people, staying under the sun and the rain for 40 years. They would not want someone like a global citizen to come in and snatch their position all of a sudden. They will not let that happen. So I feel like if nothing changes in the next 2 months, then I have a feeling that Tharoor might move or he might be moved.
Oh, all right. This is a bouncer, needless to speak of. We're calling it the emergency bouncer. How do you think the Gandhis played this particular ball? Do you think they had the wherewithal to play a nice defense on this one? What might be going through the high command in New Delhi?
It's hard to say, because with the Congress, the one thing that, look, I love the Congress party. I'm not politically affiliated to them, but the one thing that we see with the Congress party is the lack of decisiveness. You've seen it many a time in the past. You're seeing it now. So I don't think I can make a prediction about what the Gandhi family would do about it. But if they are to do it, they have to do it quickly, because it is going to hurt them not only centrally, but even in Kerala. When they see this drama going around, they feel like Congress does not have a definite leadership, and the Congress party is still confused about the leadership. The only reason Kerala might win, so the Congress party might win Kerala next time, is because essentially it's like India versus Namibia, because at the moment the left-wing party is drenched in controversy, corruption, fiscal crisis. That's the only reason that the Congress party will win. But on the inside, people are talking about the confusion, the lack of leadership, the lack of unity within the party, and this also projects that. So I think it's time that they take action. But with the Congress party, I'm not sure. I really am not.
There is a war of words that's going on between Shashi Tharoor and Manikam Tagore as well. You remember that first tweet that went out, "Sky belongs to no one," and Manikam Tagore very quickly coming back with that retort that the sky is not always free. The freedom comes with a price. There's the birds of prey, talking about hawks, vultures, whatnot. And today again saying that this bird is seemingly becoming a parrot, towing the BJP's line, is what Manikam Tagore says. But what does this mean for the Congress's narrative? Because they've always walked a tightrope when it comes to the emergency, never quite owning it, but never quite disowning it either. Where does that leave the Congress party now? Because you're right, in another 2 months, we'll have to see whether this will force the Congress party to take action or not. But walking that tightrope on the emergency narrative and the war of words that we're seeing with high command loyalists versus Shashi Tharoor.
Well, I would say that yes, you could call it a mistake, but the timing of this and the fact that it's a a respected popular politician within the Congress party that brought this out and magnified this at this point of time. I mean, I would have just seen it casually if it was a BJP politician or someone from the left who would have written this article. So I'm really surprised that someone who's as respected as Shashi Tharoor is bringing this up. So the Congress party at this moment, it puts them in a more of a tricky situation because they will have to come up with an explanation now. The BJP is going to attack them. All of the opposition parties are going to question them, stating that here's a leader from the Congress party, who's probably one of the most popular leaders, stating that what you did in 1976 is wrong. What is your answer? How do you explain this? These are questions that the Congress party will have to answer. So, which is why I think if Tharoor remains, he might make more damaging statements. And I internally have a feeling that he's upset with the fact that for 16 years, he's not reached where he should have reached. So, yeah, I mean, you have to wait with the Congress party. I'm really not sure. I'm sorry to say this. I'm really not sure how the Congress party would respond. But I feel like it's time that they draw a line and either tell him to stay within the framework or leave the framework. They have to have the guts to say that.
Well, that's the big question. Tharoor's emergency bouncer, will it force the Congress party to act on this or not? Well, only time will tell, but that op-ed certainly raising eyebrows. Nirmal Ibrahim helping us decode the story, read in between the lines. And many thanks, Nirmal. Always a pleasure to have you with us here on News 9. All right, then shifting our focus here, this is about crumbling infrastructure, because how does India's glitzy tech hub turn into a waterlogged disaster zone overnight? People are calling it Jalgram and not Gurugram. And the rains have once again crippled Gurugram. Roads have caved in, houses have flooded, and citizens are completely stuck. This isn't a freak event. It's a civic apathy, a civic collapse right in public glare. And what's happening in Gurugram today is not a surprise. It's a result of greed, neglect, and lazy governance. Let's call a spade a spade. And the city was built to host global giants, but not to handle a basic monsoon. That's quite shocking. Consider this. The district administration today issued an advisory to corporate offices and private institutions to work from home due to heavy rain. The employees of the corporate offices were advised to work from home and avoid congestion and traffic on the roads. So why does this city, home to over 250 Fortune 500 companies and the second largest IT hub in the country, resemble a disaster zone every subsequent monsoon? The answer lies in a cocktail of urban mismanagement mixed with civic apathy. And the worst part, there are 4 separate government agencies overseeing Gurugram's development. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Remember that idiom? Each stepping on the shoes of the other, or worse, looking the other way when it suits them. And there's no urban vision, clearly, no climate resilience, clearly, and certainly no political accountability, at least not so far in the last 24 hours, ever since the incessant rainfall took place in the Delhi NCR area. And despite raking in massive tax revenues and attracting global investments, we just mentioned 250 of the top Fortune 500 companies, they're placed in Gurugram. Gurugram's residents get very little in return. Politicians and officials have treated the city as a revenue generator but failed to provide even the most basic civic infrastructure. Gurugram stands as a warning, because when urban planning is ignored and citizens' needs are sidelined, even the richest of cities can drown in their own neglect. And that brings us to the question of the day. Is Gurugram just a cash cow for those in power? Can Millennium City, which is what it's dubbed, get its priorities right? Joining me here on the broadcast is, of course, Dr. Nishant Anand, spokesperson for the Congress Party, Dikshu Kukreja, urban planner and managing principal, CP Kukreja Architects, and we're also shortly going to be joined by Raman Malik, representing the BJP as well. Before I go across to Dr. Anand, let me bring in Dikshu Kukreja, the urban planner, with us on the broadcast. Yeah, Dikshu, people have been asking about this for the longest of times, and this is important that we're talking about this today because we've seen the bridge collapse in Vadodara, and people are constantly comparing pre-independence bridges and infrastructural, buildings that have stood, the test of various cyclones, typhoons, and time. God knows how many rainfalls and monsoons. But post-independence, and very recently, since 2018, take a look at the bridge collapses in Bihar, one bridge collapse in West Bengal, the Morbi bridge collapse. Those wounds and memories still fresh in our minds. What's really happening here? Who's to blame? Politicians who see land as revenue, or planners who don't necessarily push back against flawed zoning by these very politicians?
Well, Kabir, it's far more distressing and far more deeper than just that. You know, we can't just blame one person here, but it is a systemic failure. And I say that because while we are talking about Viksit Bharat, while we are talking about developing infrastructure, but the fundamentals of how this infrastructure needs to be developed or created is flawed. Take, for instance, how are consultants or technical experts brought into these projects? It's whoever offers the lowest fee gets the job. Similarly, the executing agency, the contractors are selected on the basis of whoever offers the lowest price gets the job. You know, they are project after project, estimates are made on CPWD standard rates, and the bids that come are 35%, 40% less than that estimated cost. Why are we accepting such bids? So the whole system is flawed, and I think this is a very myopic view we are taking on this subject. And while we are trying to invest so much capital into infrastructure, but look at the life of this infrastructure, look at the state of this infrastructure, and you know, it has deeper ramifications than just this. It's not just about the images horrific as they are I'm seeing on your screen, or bridges falling or roads crumbling. It's about what is the message we are sending out to the world when we are saying, come invest in India, come manufacture in India. With this kind of infrastructure, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. So that's why we need to really look at the systemic aspects here. Like I said, how do we select agencies which create this infrastructure? Of course, beyond that lies the complete apathy of multiplicity of authorities, complete negligence as far as understanding the basic geography, topography of the place where it's being built. You know, we are talking about this so-called Millennium City. I don't know which millennium it actually belongs to. Look at the state of affairs there. And that's all because we have created this built intervention into the city of Gurgaon or Gurugram without realizing and appreciating the tunnels of water, paleo channels of water that existed there, the topography of the site where you had natural water retention, whether it was johards, lakes, water bodies, low-lying areas. You know, we've just destroyed it all. Obviously, this is the calamity that's going to fall on us then. So we need to take a larger approach on this.
Right.
And yes, less said the better about city administrators.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, last night I was looking at Vatika Chowk and, you know, little kids going for a full-blown breaststroke, you know, right there, a swimming pool bigger than the size of, you know, Olympic standards. That's what Vatika Chowk at least looked like in Gurugram. And it's happened every subsequent rainfall as well. Mr. Malik also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Anand, if you don't mind, I'm going to quickly go across to Mr. Malik, the party who's at the helm of affairs, at least in Haryana. Mr. Malik, the rains haven't exposed Gurugram, they've exposed the governance is what people are saying. Now, of course, your first reaction could be that, you know, you just came into power, it was the Congress party that was in power. But what is the BJP's roadmap now? Will next year's rain look better in Gurugram? What about, you know, various
BJP
planning and development?
In Gurgaon, not Congress.
Okay,
Mr. Malik.
so the one, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So we must understand there are two stages to it. What Mr. Kukreja said, even I am associated to the construction industry, so I understand these fundamentals very clearly. Now, the Johar, the rainwater areas, the sunken areas, they were occupied before we came. And sectors were created, whether it was in 98, 99, down till the 2008-9 times when the plans for 2031 also were made and sold. So let's keep that one section aside. The other section is of the problems that are being faced. Now, the persistent problems that were there between 2016 till today, the points have changed. It is not that it is occurring at the same points. Wherever there is a problem, we have repaired, we have reconstructed multiple water channels have been created. The Bashapur drain, which was, you know, because of the NGT and other issues, it was stuck. We created alternate routes for that, and all those stuffs were done. And yes, it is not a very good scene to see. But then I was going through various videos on rain havoc in various cities. China, where the Congress, you know, always has a praise center for. because of the memorandum of understanding that they have from 2008. So in China, various malls, various metro stations, buildings, bridges, they all collapsed and all the things were happening. But yes, Mr. Gandhi, had wonderful accolades for the infrastructure in China. So my point here is that Mr. Kukreja also would second my statement, which I'm about to make, that any new construction, whether it is a road, whether it is a new settlement, a new building, once you excavate an earth which is settled for a long time, and you construct something, the entire pressure of the new construction always gives a scope for some movement in the landmass there at that point of construction. But yes, nobody can take away the fact that there has to be more efforts into it. This L1 philosophy of 30% below the auction rate, the 30% below the system, there is a 18% GST also, which is the legal binding. Then you're pegging 30% almost less. Then I do not know how the construction happens, and that has to change. How will it change? Will
There
the
are four
people
different
stop bidding?
agencies that are working over there, essentially. And is
Essentially,
this
there is a
what we're
municipal
looking at? Is
corporation.
this a failure of Gurugram being unable to unify its local administration? Four different agencies,
See,
sometimes
when
stepping
it
on
was
each other's toes as
unified,
well.
when it was unified, there was a big cry, and there was a civil society, and everybody else got together and said, "We want different agencies. The roads and other major infrastructure planning should be done by a development authority like the DDA, and municipal issues should be handled by the municipal body. There should be various other departments." Yes, we made all of that. But the point here is that there are some massive construction which is regularly happening, whether it is the movement of the load-bearing vehicles, whether it is the movement of other various stuffs that are happening. The entire, the entire scope of the land, the topography of the land area is constantly changing. That does put an effect. Delhi has
But
been
there's but,
settled
but there's
for
also the angle
thousands
of
of years.
the drainage systems. I mean, of course, I'm running out of time here. Let me also introduce Dr. Anand.
Drainage system is for about 25 to 37, 38 mm of water coming down. This yesterday's rain was about 145, 150 mm of rain. So those things also affect, because regularly we do not get to almost 150 of rains in Gurgaon.
Okay. Dr. Anand, my apologies. I know the Congress has been out of power in Haryana for the longest time now, record thumping this time around as well. People can't stop talking about it. But Congress has been ruling Haryana for years. Is this a collapse of legacy as well? And what is your suggestion for a better roadmap for next year's rains?
Hi, good evening to everybody. See, first of all, we should talk about the legacy which is going in Gurgaon from the last 11 years. We have a central state member of parliament, mayor. Everything is from BJP. Now, I call BJP as Besharam Jumlebaz party. And I'll tell you 5 points. From the last 11 years, if I talk about member of parliament, Rao Inderjeet, if I talk about the current MLA, Mukesh Sharma, I live in Gurgaon. I have seen them sitting in a boat since 2012 till last year, and asking for the vote and promising we will fix this rain harvesting issue, we will fix these drainages. Now today what we see, in a 20 minutes of rain, people are not able to go in the office. I live there. I see what is the current situation in Shitla Mata Mandir or anywhere in the Gurgaon. Now, yesterday we saw what happened in Gujarat. We saw 2 years back what happened in Gujarat, Modri Beach, 150 people died. Every single state where there is a BJP government, we can see this. From the last 11 years, they are not able to fix in Gurgaon. This is a millennium city. We all pay 30% taxes on salary, 30% on car, road taxes. Where is our tax money is going? When we have to drive our cars through sewage and water. They have not done any single work in drainage in Gurgaon. We presented a report last year because I contested elections from Gurgaon last year. And we saw how
you're wrong.
MLA from
I believe either you're staying in a multiverse
the government from
or
11
you're
years
staying somewhere
and
else.
begging and
Multiple
promising
works
people
have been
that
done
will
in
fix this
Gurugram.
drainage problem
Let's come
in
together.
100
Let's go
years.
to each point where you're saying there's no work done.
The people, the school
I
children, the
challenge you,
offices,
sir.
they
If
have
you are a
communities of
resident of
people
Gurugram,
Haryana
let's go
from last
together
11 years.
to the points
This
where
is the
work you are claiming
Please
has
don't
not been
interrupt
done.
me. Please don't interrupt me.
And
We'll listen to you. Today, this is the
News9,
result of
let's have a
uneducated
meeting
government and the
where
Prime
me,
Minister of
Mr.
India.
Anand and you
It's
come
a
and we go to the
besaram,
places where
jumlebaaz,
it
jhooti
has not been
party.
done.
They do
All right.
not have any planning. They do not have a
Gentlemen,
single plan
gentlemen.
to fix a drainage.
We've heard point of views of both the governments, both the parties as well, beg your pardon. Mr. Malik, now challenging Dr. Anand, I'm going to take you to all those points and we can take a look at where all work has happened or not. But apathy has crippled Gurugram. We've got these visuals to see for ourselves.
On the email,
I will go to that place with your news channel and Mr. Anand where he says work has not been done.
By the BJP from the last 11 years. What happened to Shitla Mata Mandir where they do the maximum rallies? If it is a Lok Sabha or a MLA election, today we can see what is happening with the people. Trucks are falling down. People are not able to go to school.
I'll tell you what. Let's bring in Mr. Kukreja here, because the bigger question is that people pay a lot of money. There's a lot of tax money that is being paid in Gurugram, and the layman out there is trying to ask the question of where is that money actually going. Now, if work is being done, Mr. Malik, I think the speed of the work is something that people are not clearly happy with right now. Authorities seem to be indifferent to what all is happening, and the bigger questions, Mr. Kukreja, that I want to put to you, we're completely running out of time here.
When Modi ji goes outside India, people come and say Modi and Modi. They take $100 for 2 hours. That's where they are using the corruption money. We see the 4 companies are working in MCG.
Let's talk about solutions, sir.
You're absolutely right. Many thanks, Mr. Kukreja, for coming in, because we need to talk about solutions. Has ease of doing business now hurt ease of living in Gurugram? And that's why many people are shifting to Gurugram as well, Mr. Kukreja. Not everybody is well versed with the political scenario of what's really happening, whose collar should be held when things like this happen, but they are taxpayers, aren't they? And they're, well within their rights to ask the question, where is their money going?
Absolutely, they do. And I think at some point we need to mature ourselves into a democracy where we are thinking about the nation first. We need to rise above these politics to find solutions. And you know what? The solutions are right there. Some of them are very low-hanging fruits which we can do. But in the case of Gurgaon, if we talk right now, what we really need is an integrated water management. We need to integrate blue and green into the master plan of the city, because what's happened is with the rapid urbanization, rapid concretization that has taken place, it has taken away the porous surfaces of the city. And if water cannot percolate, you're going to see scenes like this. Also, what's important is that there needs to be a proper scientific mapping of whatever has been built has been built. We are not here to demolish it, but we can certainly now, with scientific evidence and research, integrate how the water flows into the city or through the city. And this is a city which has subsoil water which is really deep. This is the time when we should be celebrating monsoon and taking that water which in few months later
you're absolutely right. You're raising very pertinent points, Mr. Kukreja, because I'll tell you what, my family also stays in Gurugram. Gurugram was sold to us as the city of the future, where ambitions would meet infrastructure. At least that's what the tall rise buildings told us back in the day, where dreams would meet design. But year after year, one monsoon turns it into a cautionary tale. It's important that we continue to talk about this, because there is no civic amenities, and clearly with basic facilities absent, the authorities are seemingly looking indifferent right now. But on that note, many thanks for joining us here. Mr. Malik, always a pleasure to have you with us on the broadcast. Dr. Nishant Anand, spokesperson of the Congress Party, and Dikshu Kukreja, making those pertinent points, urban planner and managing principal, CP Kukreja Architects. We're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. Top developments right on the other side. Many thanks for watching.
मेरा नया कुकी होल्डर कप एक तेरे लिए मंगाऊं? नहीं। मेरा नया क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल, मेरे नए म्यूजिक गॉगल्स मंगाओ क्या? मेरा नया रेन प्रोटेक्टर।
मेरी नई गाड़ी
नाइस
कप होल्डर है, कुकी भी रख सकते हैं, क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल है, म्यूजिक भी।
सेविंग्स की विद्या तो कुछ से सीखे।
कुछ बड़ा बनाना है तो पहले बचाओ। फेडरल बैंक से रिश्ता बनाओ।
Fresh in. The roof, but different. The grill, but different. The alloys, but different. The seats, but different. Different is in the XUV 3XO Rev X series, starting at rupees 8.94 lakh.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
In a deeply shocking incident on Guru Purnima, a day meant to revere teachers, a school principal in Hissar in Haryana was stabbed to death by 2 students, allegedly. The victim is the principal of Kartar Memorial Senior Secondary School in Bas village. Reportedly reprimanded the students over discipline and grooming issues, including not cutting their hair. Enraged by the scolding, the students attacked him with a folding knife. The principal's body has been sent to post-mortem. According to the police, the accused students may have been influenced by gang culture, but that can only be confirmed after a full investigation. The police have identified the suspects and are working to apprehend them. Visuals on your screens are of the CCTV footage capturing the students involved in the attack.
देखिए 10 से 10:30 बजे सूचना मिली कि यहाँ पे जो प्रिंसिपल जगबीर सिंह जी थे उनको चाकू मार के हत्या कर दी गई थी। तो इस संबंध में 2 लड़के के नाम आ रहे हैं, तो उनको पकड़ने के लिए पूरी हमारी पुलिस टीम कार्रवाई कर रही है और उनको जनरल हॉस्पिटल ले जाया गया है। तो वहाँ पे उनकी पोस्टमार्टम की कार्रवाई करवाई जाएगी। तो जो भी इसमें रोल निकल कर आएगा उसकी हम पूरी जाँच करवाएंगे। हत्या के